What if I told you that you could build a complete, solid brand for yourself in the next 5 minutes? Seriously, today we are going to walk through a blueprint that does exactly that. We're going to turn one single prompt into a brand building machine. Let's dive in. Just think about that for a second. For so many of us, creating a brand feels like this huge, complicated thing, right? But what if it didn't have to be? What if the answer was actually simple, super fast, and incredibly effective? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle today. So what we're going to do is build something called a tiny brand kit. Now forget those giant 50-page brand manuals that nobody ever reads. This is more like a one-page cheat sheet. And the real magic here, it's all about simplicity. It gives you the absolute essentials, your colors, your fonts, your voice, so that everything you put out there looks and feels like you. Every single time. Okay, so before we jump into the fun stuff like colors and fonts, we have to start with strategy. Part 1 is all about figuring out the core reason your brand even exists. This why is going to be our North Star for every single decision we make from here on out. It all kicks off with this simple fill in the blank. You've got to be super clear on what you actually sell. Are you selling Canva templates? Maybe you're a coach, or you sell handmade soap. You need to fill in that blank. For our example, we're going to roll with someone who sells Canva templates. Okay, next up. Who are you selling to? This part is just as important, if not more so. Are your customers busy entrepreneurs, college students, other designers? Knowing your audience is absolutely crucial because, let's be real, you're not designing for you, you're designing for them. And last but not least, what's the vibe? How do you want people to feel when they interact with your brand? The trick here is to try and nail it down to one single word. Is it clean and modern, warm and approachable, or maybe you're going for something premium and a little more luxurious? This one word sets the whole mood. All right, we've got our strategy locked in. Now we get to the really fun part, the visuals. And remember that feeling, that one word we just picked? Every single choice we make now is going to be about bringing that exact feeling to life. Let's see how it works. Okay, this is where it all starts to click. We're turning that feeling into something you can actually see. So for that clean vibe, you get a modern pairing like Montserrat and Lotto. See how it's just no fuss, straight to the point. But for a warm feeling, you get something like Playfair Display. It's a classic font that just feels a little more personal and traditional, right? The fonts are already doing half the work for you. And you guessed it, the exact same idea applies to our color choices. Clean gets us these cool, professional blues and a crisp white. Warm gives us these earthy, almost cozy tones like a terracotta and a nice cream. And hey, notice that little note about readable contrast? That's super important. It's not just about looking good. People actually have to be able to read your stuff. Functionality is key. So we've got our foundation and our core visuals. Now let's get into the details that give your brand a real personality. This is the stuff that makes people connect with you and remember who you are. I absolutely love this concept because it's so incredibly simple, but wow, is it powerful. Instead of some long, boring style guide, you just create one sentence that acts as a filter for everything you write. Is your voice helpful but not bossy? Or maybe it's witty and clever? Before you hit publish on anything, you just ask yourself, does this pass the one-line filter? It's a game changer. And what about all the images you use? You know, your photos, your graphics? Consistency is everything. These 3 little cues will make sure all your visuals look like they belong in the same family. First, lighting. Are you bright and airy or more dark and dramatic? Second, color. Are neutrals your thing or do you love a pop of color? And third, what's actually in the picture? Desks and laptops or maybe people and nature? Nailing these down is how you get that cohesive look. Easy. Okay, we've gone through all the different parts. Let's pull it all together now into the final blueprint that you can literally take and use the second this is over. And voila, here it is, the whole shebang. This right here is the magic formula. You see how it's structured? You define the role, you give it the context, what you sell, who you sell it to, and the vibe you're after. Then you give it a very clear task, and finally you lay out the rules, the constraints. This is basically a perfect creative brief. You can hand this to a designer, plug it into an AI tool, or just use it yourself to stay focused. It's that versatile. So there you have it, a super simple but really powerful framework for building a consistent brand from the ground up. All the pieces are right here. You literally have the blueprint in your hands now. The only question left is, what are you going to go build with it?